Good evening, guys. This is Professor J.J. DeBras, and if you are watching this video, you should be taking class TCEM 371, Convention and Sales Services. So welcome, everybody. We were going to spend the next 8 weeks together going through our book and knocking out chapter after chapter and getting you guys through this class. So a few things about me, just to introduce myself. This is my third year teaching at IUPUI. I have my undergrad degree from Butler University. Just down the street. You will usually see me wearing Bulldog apparel, very proud alumni, but at the same time very honored to be teaching here for IUPUI and just love everything that this department is doing for you guys, and so very, very excited to be back teaching this class again. Just came off a 6-week stretch where I taught sports management, sports management and sports marketing in the summertime. I have a background in both, actually. I spent almost 10 years in college and professional athletics, and I've now spent almost 9.5 years in the hospitality industry. I'm currently the sales and marketing manager for the Crowne Plaza, downtown Indianapolis. So again, a lot of good experiences there. Have been in the city now for almost 20 years, and very honored to teach this class again. So I am married with my wife of 19 years, coming up here in about a week. I have 3 children. And so you will hear me talk about them every now and then as well. So again, very excited to teach this class. Hopefully you guys are as well as far as taking the class goes. So we have a lot of work to get done in a very short amount of time. If you guys have seen the syllabus, you know it's anywhere between 2 and 3 chapters a week that we're going to cover. What we're going to do is I have posted all of my outlines for the chapters. Please use these as a resource, as a guide, as you read through the chapters, as you study for the different quizzes and exams. They will be tremendously helpful to you guys. We've got forms, 4 of them. Again, the point total for those forms is not only you responding to the question, but you responding to 2 of your peers in the classroom as well. So again, please don't forget to do that. I don't want any of you guys to lose points that way. 3 exams. They will cover all all the sections in our book. It is laid out as far as which exam covers which chapters. You'll have a case study in there as well and an article review. So a lot of chances to get points, both in the test exams as well as different projects in the forms to answer. So other things, and again, you'll see this on the syllabus. My office is at the Crowne Plaza. You are more than welcome to call me anytime. And my office number, which is on the syllabus, but again, is 236-7499. I have no problems at all with you guys texting or email or texting me or calling me on my cell phone. I know emergencies happen. The number is 289-2363. By all means, use the IUPUI email address. That's the one I check almost every day. So if you guys have questions, you can always email me there as well. If you need to have a sit down with me, if there's just something you're not getting, my office hours, I'm in the office between 8 and 5. I ask that you make an appointment with me beforehand, but typically it's not a problem to work you guys in, and we can have a sit down one-on-one if you need. So, all right, so that covers most of that. On the chapter 1, the first chapter is a great introduction to our industry. And again, the hospitality industry, I think, is just one of the most amazing industries in the world, in the country. And again, I'm biased because I work in it, but there are so many different realms that you guys can enter in our industry, whether it is sales-oriented, service-oriented, projects. I mean, there's just so many different outlets for you guys. So again, look closely at this chapter, and as we go through here, begin to kind of formulate where you think your skill sets match. What I'm going to do with these lectures is I'm just going to go through and kind of highlight different parts of the chapters. This is a quick hit. By no means should this replace you reading the actual chapter. There's going to be a lot of finite detail in there that you guys are going to need to know and that you're going to find on your exams as well as different projects we have. So again, just real quickly, going through some of the main points of chapter 1, the history of the meeting industry. Again, exciting. This is over a $100 billion industry. It covers everything. We're going to cover more the hotel side and the convention sales side. But when you talk about hospitality, that broadens into such a huge, huge area. Everything from, again, your restaurants to third parties as far as travel goes. You talk about the airline industry. You talk about ground transportation. You talk about third-party planners. Again, this is a huge, huge industry. You know, it's ever-changing as well. And with technology being what it is, this industry is by no means immune to the changes in technology. And what we've seen is hotels that have grasped it very quickly are doing things drastically different from, say, 20, 25 years ago because, again, you guys, I don't even know if you're called millennials anymore. We keep changing names after every 5 or 10 years. But your generation coming through now is obviously incredibly tech-savvy. It's what you've grown up with. It's what you use on a regular basis. The hospitality industry has adjusted to that, and we're going to talk about those things as we go through the course. So, who and why? Well, we have women and men obviously traveling just as much. It's about an even split, I should say. It used to be back in the day, this was a heavy men's travel area. A lot of sales reps, people being trained. We've kind of gone away from that. We're seeing a broad variety of all kinds of peoples, whether it's training, best practices, what have you. And we're seeing young and old. So again, what used to be 25 years ago, your typical hotelier or your typical, I'm sorry, not hotelier, your typical hotel guest or your association member is now starting to change and vary more. What types of meeting? Well, this is the area you guys really need to look at in the book. Meetings range, I believe there are 13 examples, if not about 12 examples in the book. Everything from training sessions to symposiums to seminars to associations. Again, they're going to really highlight that area. Know that part of the chapter. That is going to come up throughout the entire semester. So please focus very strongly on that area. Again, this is a quick hit. I'm not going to go into great detail because I want you guys to read the chapters. So, meeting segments. One thing we're going to talk about is who holds the different meetings. And hotels will break down their sales staffs typically by segments. And what the book talks about is you have corporations. Now, that's actually where I fall into. As a corporate and marketing sales manager at the Crown, I handle all the groups that come in from corporations. So again, those could be just people coming in, say, for a ball game who are entertaining clients and it's rooms only. They could be coming in for a 3-day training session. It could be coming in to do a state of the company address. It could be a retreat, again, where they're going to talk about best practices. Could be an awards banquet. But anything that falls under the corporation, your Coca-Colas, your Nikes, Rolls-Royce, Siemens, anything in that range, that's going to fall under corporations. Then you have associations. If you can think of any industry, there's an association for it. Meeting Professionals International is the association for hoteliers and meeting planners. Everything from doctors to nurses to lawyers to union workers to you name it, there's an association for it. That's a whole segment unto itself under the association umbrella. One of the biggest, one of the most powerful, and usually one of the richest. They have a lot of money to spend. So again, number two of the four segments, excuse me. Then you have what's called SMERF. That's an acronym. Social, military, entertainment, religious, fraternal. Sometimes that S also stands for sports. So in my world, because I have a background in athletics, I actually got both the sports market and the corporate market. So those are the two that I work with. So we have a MERF salesperson. That took away the S. So again, that's one of those areas. And that's a hodgepodge catch-all of everything. Usually this market is very price sensitive. They're willing to move around to get a better deal, but every element of that market is a little different from the other. Military is different from religious. Fraternal is different from entertainment or education. Sports is drastically different from all of them because you could be dealing with fans, you could be dealing with teams. So again, the Smurf market is the most varied and probably one of the tougher ones to sell because typically they're very, very price sensitive. The last one the book talks about is nonprofit. It is exactly what you would think about. Again, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Make-A-Wish Foundation, those kind of areas, those nonprofits. Also a tough segment to sell, again, because they're usually working on shoestring budgets. So a lot of creativity in that market, but obviously great causes. So again, a fun one to work with. So those are the market segments we're going to talk about. Who are our meeting planners? The book does a fantastic job of kind of laying out who you'll be working with from a sales side. You have your full-time meeting planners. These are people who, that is their job. They plan meetings 24/7, 365 days a year. And it's here in Indianapolis, and it's in Hawaii, and it's in Europe, and it's in Asia, and they're back in Dallas, Texas. That is their job. That is their full-time job for companies. And usually you'll find those amongst your larger companies. Again, your Coca-Colas of the world, General Motors, those kind of things. They're going to have a full-time meeting planner. Associations typically have those as well. But for those companies, associations who don't, I'm going to back up one. So you would have that as a full-time position. You might have what we call part-time or single event planners within an organization. Now, these are probably going to be people who have other responsibilities. And a lot of times what I see in the corporate world is they fall to administrative staff. So your administrative assistants, your secretaries or receptionists might go as high as an assistant to, say, a director. And it could be the directors themselves, depending upon how big the companies are. But these people are planning the meeting one time a year. I have to get the marketing staff together. I, as a director of marketing, have to go out and plan it. Or we're doing a company Christmas party, and our lead admin is one that's going to organize the whole thing. That's not their only job. That's not the one thing they focus on. It's just a part of their job. those people from a sales side, I can be a tremendous resource for them because this is not their main focus. This is not what they do every day. So they are not as well versed in our industry, and so they need a little more help. This is a great chance for me to build up rapport, build up a relationship and trust as I can come in and kind of help them plan different things. You're going to have committees. You see this a lot of times with associations. You'll have a board that's going to talk about where the association is going to meet, and they plan these 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years in advance. It's really unbelievable to watch how associations work. My coworker, her name is Patty. She handles all of our associations. She's booking business for 2025 right now. So, and the wild thing about associations and their committees are you could work through the planning and even the contract phase with one board, one group of people. But by the time that group gets here, that whole board has left and it's a new board. So now you may have to go through and look at how we contracted things, what has changed. Do they have different ideas, different feel for things? So a very, very complicated and complex group, if you will, are the committees that go along with associations. So again, I don't envy Patty in our office because it takes a lot of patience and a lot of creativity. So lastly, you're going to have third parties. And this has become very popular, especially after the economy kind of crashed about 4 or 5 years ago. You saw a lot of positions that got cut within companies that did not have ROI, your return on investment. So obviously meeting planners don't bring money into the company. So those positions were kind of done away with. And then what was happening was there were third-party companies. And to give you an idea, and you can look up these names of these companies, but Helms Briscoe, Conference Direct, are two of the bigger ones. Experience is another big one in the industry. They are independent contractors, if you will. So someone like, let's just say myself, I work for Helms Briscoe. I can go to a company, make the relationship and say, you know what, I'll plan all your meetings. I'll search the hotels. I'll talk to the people on site, and you're not going to pay me a dime because the hotel is actually going to pay me commission on what I bring in to the hotel. So the way this would work, Rolls-Royce, let's say, has Experian working with them. They come to me, the Experian person says, Rolls-Royce wants to have a 4-day meeting. They're going to have 200 overnight rooms per day. They're going to have these kind of meals, these kind of meetings. I put the proposal all together. I send it to the Experian person. She takes all the proposals from the hotel, lays them all out, puts them in a grid, hands them to the decision maker and says, I've sourced all of these. Here's my recommendation, but I also want you to have input as well. They come back and say, Jay, you've gotten it. Crown Plaza, that's where we're going to hold it at. So what will happen then is, as we pick up rooms, and again, let's say if it's a 4-day meeting, that means they're probably staying about 3 nights. 200 rooms a night, 600 overnight rooms. To use easy math, let's say each overnight room was $100 a night. 600 overnight rooms, $100 a night. That is roughly, what, 60,000? 600 overnight rooms, $60,000. So what's going to happen is that Helms or that Experian rep is going to get paid 10% commission on the sale of those overnight rooms. So we will actually pay her 10% commission, so about what, $6,000, because she brought the business to us. So that's how they make their money. The company didn't pay them a dime, but she did all this work for the company. So it's really a neat way of how that all works. So again, we're going to see that pop up throughout the 16 chapters. Talk about types of meeting facilities. Again, look very closely at this. We're going to hit on all of these. You've got everything from all-suite hotels to boutiques to conference center hotels, which is what you see a lot of in Indianapolis. The JW, the Marriott, the Crown Plaza, the Omni, the Hyatt, the Westin. Those are all conference center type hotels. You've got your non-traditional ones as well. Cruise ships, universities, those kind of things. We're going to touch on all of that throughout the year. So again, read real closely on that chapter. Lastly, trends in the industry. Please take a very, very close look at this. These are important things that we are going to hit on and we're going to probably add to. Again, this book I think was published about 3 or 4 years ago, so we know new things are coming along all the time. But two of the big things that I always take out of that particular part of chapter 1 are the tier 2 cities and the technology. Indianapolis is considered a high tier 2 city, and the way we kind of tier the cities usually has to do with convention center space, airlift, the ability of a flight to get into the hotel for that particular, the airport for that particular city, and the number of hotels they have, and it could be the rankings as well. So if you're looking at tier 1 cities in the United States, Chicago, Las Vegas, New York, Los Angeles, Orlando, those are your tier 1 cities. Indianapolis is a great, probably off the charts tier 2 city because our mobility within the downtown area is incredible. The proximity, and you're going to hear this a lot during this chapter when we talk about this course when we talk about Indianapolis. The proximity to everything is unbelievable. San Antonio is probably the next best city that does this, but our convention center, Lucas Oil Stadium, Bankers Life Fieldhouse, all the museums that you have in some of the neighborhood between 16 and 25 hotels are within a square of probably, I want to say it's about a mile square of each other. And so transportation to take people to and from, not needed. They can all walk. You've got restaurants there. You've got nightlife there. You've got the convention center itself. So again, if you guys have read anything about the Super Bowl when it came here, that was one of the huge reasons why Indianapolis not only won that bid, but absolutely crushed it, was because it was so easy for fan bases, entertainment to get around. It just made that much difference. So again, when you go to a New York, when you go to a Dallas, and everything is spread out, it adds cost. It adds additional headaches and additional issues that they didn't have here. So there are two of your, again, the trends in the industry. Look closely at that part of the chapter. Those things are going to come up the rest of the year. Again, guys, I'm incredibly excited. This will be my third time teaching this class. I love the book. It does a fantastic job of laying out our industry, what we do, what you need to know. By all means, please do not hesitate to give me a call if you guys need anything. I wish you all the best of luck. It's going to be a great, I believe it's 8 weeks. And like I said, good luck with everything, and we'll be talking again.